My Mustang broke down 30 miles from home. Normally, I'd call roadside assistance, but after spending 8 hours waiting for a tow truck last time, there was no way I was going to do that again. Hola! I'm Mike, the backyard mechanic. What went wrong with the car? So I'm driving down the highway, minding my own business, doing 55 miles per hour. I'm totally not doing 90 when suddenly every warning light on the dash came on, the engine temp redlined, and the steering got stiff.
Michael, remember when we agreed we'd fix things before they break?
We never agreed to that. I managed to cross the highway, exited, found a parking lot, and shut her down. I popped the hood, looked around, and saw no belt. How the heck did someone steal my belt while I was doing 90 miles per hour? 55. I was going 55. That was pretty much all I needed to see until I got the car home. Normally I'd call roadside assistance since I pay for it along with my insurance. Is that a good idea? No, not anymore. What? You pay for roadside assistance, why wouldn't you use it? The last time I used roadside, it was a Sunday, so you'd think there wouldn't be much of a wait. Wrong. I waited 8 hours for a tow truck on a Sunday. I beat Angry Birds. You know how long it takes to beat Angry Birds? I've used roadside 2 other times in the last few years for Little Miss Content Maker. She had to wait 4 hours both times. Roadside service literally isn't what it used to be. You'd call AAA and a AAA truck would come out. Now, they broker the job to local tow companies. Your roadside service is just a middleman now that negotiated for slightly lower rates. So, I did call my roadside. They said it would be 70 minutes and $165. So they're telling you somebody will be there in 70 minutes, but what they really mean is your name has been put in the hat. Patience brings great rewards. What? That's not a number. What does that mean? I don't have time for this. Here's the secret. Call a tow truck on your own. Yeah, it's as simple as that. Before you do this, make sure your policy allows. Here's the secret. Call a tow truck on your own. Yeah, simple as that. Damn it. I could get through this. Call a tow truck on your own. Yeah, simple as that. Before you do this, make sure your policy allows reimbursement. Many do, some don't. If your service provider doesn't reimburse, cancel it. You don't need it. You don't want it. I called multiple tow companies. The first one I called wanted $350. What are you kidding me? Are you going to paint my car too? The second one was only $185 and they said they'd be out in 40 minutes. They showed up in 30. The Mustang was loaded up and they got me home. The form for reimbursement was filled out and submitted. A last-minute update on the reimbursement. This morning, the day the video is being released, I was approved for $150. I think the advantage is clear. If you can afford to pay up front and wait to be paid back, you not only get service faster and more reliably, but it saves you a ton of money. Remember, I was supposed to pay $165 for the roadside service, but paid $185 for my own tow truck instead. And after reimbursement, it was only $35 out of pocket. That is called hacking the hackers. So exactly how bad is roadside service now? I'll talk about that a little later, but first, I need to figure out exactly what happened to my belt. What exactly was the issue? Turns out it was a maintenance item I didn't even know was something I should maintain. I was worried it was the AC compressor, but it's spinning just fine, thank goodness, so what else could it be? Oh, well, that's not supposed to do that. The tensioner pulley blew up. And it turns out these should be replaced on high mileage vehicles. How do I know? Amazon suggested I should replace it. Amazon! I'll be damned! Apparently the algorithm knew more about my car than I did. You know what? This was actually my own fault. How do you know when a pulley needs to be replaced? It sounds like this. That's me testing where the noise is coming from with the mechanic's stethoscope. Yeah, I knew this pulley was going bad in December, and I had every intention of fixing it eventually. Apparently my eventually means after it explodes. So this $20 part also cost me a $36 belt and a $185 tow, and the privilege of spending my afternoon playing Angry Birds. Not my most shining moment. The pulley is fortunately a pretty easy job. First step is remove the air intake tube, the crankcase vent tube, and the sound tube. Loosen the clamps with an 8mm socket, then yank it off. Yes, she did. Remove the bolts for the tensioner, then carefully remove it without dropping anything into the engine compartment. Like the pulley. Oh well. Look at the pulley bearing shaft. Do you think that can be saved? I think it can be saved. It can't be saved. I clamped the tensioner down so I could break the pulley bolt free. Man, the new pulley looks so much nicer than the old one. This is going to feel like a new car. A very specific new car whose pulley isn't exploding. The tensioner was held in place and the bolts were tightened down. In the good old days, you pretty much had a different belt for each accessory. If the power steering belt broke or came loose, the steering would stiffen up, but the alternator and the water pump would keep working. In fact, in this situation, you could keep driving it like this, as long as you mastered the technique of only turning while the car is moving. Modern Serpentine belts, however, one belt does all. If your power steering goes out and your dash lights come on, that means your water pump isn't turning. You need to pull the car over as soon as possible and shut it down. Another fun aspect of a Serpentine belt is putting them on. I found a belt diagram online and had that showing on my tablet while putting the belt back on. In the case of the Mustang, the first step has to be pushing a loop between the tensioner and the guide pulley, then place it on the compressor pulley. Then route it around the power steering pump, then the water pump, and then the crankshaft pulley. On the Mustang, at least, the alternator is the last pulley to loop. There's a 1/2-inch drive hole built into the tensioner for your breaker bar. Holding the tensioner all the way, slip the belt on the last pulley. Done! Put the air tube back on and start it up. Uh-oh. The alternator was not turning, so this incident killed my battery. No worries, I have the Trecure TK50 portable jump starter. What? You don't have a jumper pack? Are you still watching a tube TV with rabbit ears? Do you still listen to 45s on your stereophonic phonograph? Do you still talk on a rotary telephone that's mounted to the wall? I have 4 jumper packs now, one for each member of the family. This TK50 is the most powerful one yet, 8,000 amps. That's even more than the Avapow 6,000 amp that I talked about a few months back. The TK50 has the usual safety features that include short circuit protection and reverse polarity detection. It has USB ports for charging your devices, the emergency light, all the usual features, and it's quite simple to use. Insert the clamp plug. Connect the clamps to the battery, red goes to positive, press the force button on the side of the clamp plug, start the car. Does it sound better now? Before, after. Before, after. And the Mustang is back on the road. No dash lights, no overheating, no smoke, no dust, no errors. So, we good now?
Yes, we are good. We need to revisit our agreement on fixing things before they break.
Yeah, that's still not a thing. The TK50 is honestly the most powerful jump starter I've used. This will start a diesel truck. Link in the description. It's like 50% off now. If I didn't already have one, I'd buy it. Roadside Service has discovered a magical corporate accounting trick called breakage. They mathematically assume that 90% of you will pay for that annual fee every single year and your car will run flawlessly. They think the most you'll ever do is call once every 3 years because you left your dome light on. Look at the website. Is this for roadside service, or are they trying to sell you everything from flowers to phone protective screens? You try and redeem your free tow, but the only company willing to take the job at such a discount is 3 counties away driving a truck that looks like Mater.
But what happens when it rains? Or it's Thanksgiving weekend? Suddenly, everybody's alternator explodes at the exact same time, and guess what? The system collapses. There are no trucks. You're stuck on the shoulder of I-35 eating a 3-day-old gas station sandwich that you found on the floor of your car.
So how bad is roadside service? How much do you like your frequent flyer program? You work hard to get all those miles and try to redeem them for a nice weekend trip. And the airline says, yes, a seat is available. It's a triple layover flight through international waters. You're in the middle seat next to a crying goat, and it lands 3 days after your vacation ends. Gym memberships. They have 10,000 members in a building that holds 50 people. Home warranties. They come out and tell you, yep, it's broke. We have to order the part. We don't have any parts. Mail-in rebates. The fine print says to cut out the barcode, mail it to a secret bunker in Switzerland within 4 minutes of purchase, and we'll send you a $5 gift card that expires yesterday. Gift cards, travel insurance, streaming, free trials, roadside service, it's all the same game. I've got to wrap this video up. I need to go to the gym, but first I need to call and get my dryer fixed, and then I have to fill out my rebate form for the trip I took with my frequent flyer miles. Damn, I'm still wet. Oh, I've got a fan online. Hey fan, did you like the video?
You know what else could have used roadside assistance? This script. Did you find it on the side of the road?
Thanks, fan. Let's see if you're gonna like this video. Yes, you will completely like this video. And don't forget to subscribe and tell your family and friends and people you hate. That's it for this episode of Mike the Backyard Mechanic, but stick around. Why are all cars gray? I was kind of wondering that. One more. That thing you forgot? It will become important later. Well, that's good to know. I remember.
You're right, Amazon is pretty smart. They also suggested replacing the host. The moral to the story is the Mustang made it home. Bad news is, so did you.
Or it's Thanksgiving weekend. Suddenly, everybody's... Now I can't read the teleprompter.